Hello, my name is Melissa Furlan, and today I'll be doing a speech on safety modifications in the home that can be done to prevent fall and injury for the elderly population. As parents and loved ones begin to age, many are forced with a difficult decision whether they will be cared for at home or in a healthcare setting. It's common to worry about the aging individual as their senses diminish. This speech will point out minimal changes that can be made in the home to assist in preventing falls and injury. I am a home health nurse, and I have been a witness to the statistic that falls are the leading cause of injury for people 65 years of age and older. I believe with education to families and caregivers, minor changes can be made in the home of the elderly individual to help prevent these fall-related injuries. For those that don't have children or families to assist them in assessing their home for the safety, there are home health agencies out there who will do this free of charge. Many of these simple and inexpensive ideas can be done by a handyman. First, it's important to make sure that there are clear walkways from the entrance to all rooms in the home. Clear pathways are vital in cases for emergency personnel to be able to quickly access all rooms in the home. Clear pathways also allow adequate space for assistive devices such as walkers and wheelchairs. If the home has stairs at the entrance or raised thresholds throughout the home, they can be marked with bright-colored strips to make them easily identified. Throw rugs must also be removed throughout the home unless they are slip resistant. Approximately 1 in 3 people has some form of vision-reducing eye disease over the age of 65. When assessing the home, it's important to keep in mind that the elderly do have visual deficits, such as reduction in color and depth perception, a sensitivity to glare, and difficulty to see in dimly lit areas. We must make sure that the hallways are well lit. Fluorescent lights can be changed with LED light bulbs to help prevent glare. Motion-censored lighting can be installed in hallways and a path leading from the bed to the restroom in case your loved one likes to get up during the night. Our sense of smell also gradually declines over the age of 60. Therefore, fire alarms must be assessed regularly to make sure they are working in the case of a fire. When our sense of smell diminishes, so does our sense of taste. Please assist your loved ones in regularly going through their fridge to make sure that there aren't any spoiled foods. Elderly individuals still have good receptors for sweets, but over time they lose taste receptors such as sour, salty, and bitter. Cooking with fresh herbs and preparing meals ahead of time could be a good way to avoid malnutrition. Nutrition.org states that aging is accompanied by a reduction in muscle mass and strength. A bathroom assessment is important because it's a common place for injuries. Raised toilet seats can be installed, making sitting and standing a lot easier. This can avoid the elderly person from grabbing onto a shower curtain or using a countertop to help raise themselves. There are also various shower chairs and rails that can be purchased and installed to make transferring into the shower or over the ledge of the bath safer. This can make showering more enjoyable because it eases the fear of falling. Even though rugs in the hallways have been discouraged, non-slip rugs are recommended in restrooms to avoid slipping on water. Home temperatures should be assessed to avoid burns. The water heater should be turned down to a safe 120 degrees. Burns are common for those who have diminished feeling in their hands and feet, especially for diabetic patients. Emergency response systems are a good investment that can save a life in the time of an emergency. They can be discreetly worn under clothes and easily accessed should something happen. For example, I had a patient who suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder because of a fall that she had in her kitchen, which left her on the floor for 4 days. If this patient would have had an emergency response system, she could have pressed that and help would have been there immediately. Much of the elderly population prefers to remain in their home where they feel safe and avoid the stress of an unfamiliar setting. Healthcare settings can also put them at risk for acquiring infections. The loss of independence can also cause a decline. As you can see, many of these changes can be made for a minimal price. It is important that we educate ourselves and those around us to evaluate the homes of our loved ones to make sure that they're free and safe of hazards that can cause injury or even death. After all, it's a small investment to make that can avoid an expensive accident. The average hospital cost for a fall-related injury is over $30,000. So please, help somebody out there to assess their home for dangers for falls and injury.